Good morning. It's time to wake up, y'all. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. We're here weekdays on CBS Radio, YouTube Live, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. The Armchair Quarterback Show, your first choice for Southern sports talk. Good morning, Mr. Joey Areola.
Good morning, Mac. I don't know much, but I know one thing. The Milwaukee Bucks are back in it. Anybody who said it was over after 2-0, woo, the series is just getting started.
Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I don't know much, but I know one thing. Richard Sherman's probably going to get signed by the Buccaneers in the very short future. Yeah. That's a Buccaneers resume if I've ever seen one. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Everybody's attention for 1 minute. Here's something I need to say to everybody. My name's Miles Dalrymple, and I am tired of living a lie. I need it to be known that I like big. In fact, a large, zoftig, voluptuous, full-figured, big-boned, massive-assive honey. That is what really gets me going. I like fat women, and they like me. Anybody got a problem with that? Anybody? Big girls need love too, baby.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man. With a cool one in his head.
Hey, howdy, hi. Top of the morning to you. Welcome to the Armchair Quarterback Radio Show. Mac McGee and Mr. Joey Areola. Joey, how the hell are you on this fine Thursday open morning?
Yeah, doing pretty good. We're getting baseball back with the second half. NBA Finals is coming on its way down, and we're getting close to football. After your Wednesday fantasy day, I could sniff the grass and the football being thrown around. So got me excited.
Oh, man, I cannot wait. We will dive even more into fantasy football as it gets nearer. By the way, if you did miss it last night, the series is now tied 2-2. Bucks, Suns. It's now a best of 3 series with 2 of those 3 being in Phoenix. So we're going to see what happens. Very good game across the board. The Suns seem to run out of gas in the last 2 to 3 minutes, and that ended up being the difference. But the Bucks have tied it up. So now we're going to get. I think we're going to get a best of 7. I really do. I think Phoenix is going to find a way to win game number 5 in Phoenix, and then the Bucks will hold serve, and it's going to be an all-out war for game number 7. So there you have that. But before we get into anything else, let me find out. Here it is. For people that missed the Richard Sherman thing, this is really disturbing, and we hope he's okay. But we figure people do want to hear the audio of this because it's pretty disturbing. It's not just disturbing on what's going on at his house, man. I'll tell you what, Joey, I wasn't a big fan of the way the dispatcher came off. She almost came off like she was trying to establish dominance as opposed to trying to help a lady whose husband had gotten pretty much over the edge and lost it. We're going to play the audio and then we will react to it. So in case you haven't heard it, here's the Richard Sherman audio.
911, what are you reporting?
I need officers to my house now. My husband is drunk and threatening to kill himself.
Stop. What's the address? Are there any weapons? Stop. There's
no gun. I'm saying there are no weapons, ma'am. There are no weapons.
You need to stop interrupting me so I can get the information I need to get officers expedited.
I need officers here now.
What's he doing that you think he's going to harm himself?
He's being aggressive. He has sent text messages. I took the keys out. They're in your car. He's trying to leave now in the house. He's being aggressive. He's wrestling with my uncle. He's threatening to kill himself. He has sent text messages to people saying he's going to hang himself. He's saying that if the police show up, so please don't shoot is what I'm asking.
Okay, wait. Say that again.
He has no weapon.
Says if the police show up,
he said if the police show up, that he'll try to fight them. So they need to understand that he is.
Okay. Has it been physical with anybody there? You said he's trying to fight your uncle?
Yes, it has. Yes, it has.
How has it been physical?
He just tried to fight him.
Okay, trying to fight somebody and actually being
Yes,
physical is
he
two
did. He
different
did, all
things.
the way
How
down to
has
the
it been physical?
He's put, it's a 2016 black Mercedes. Richard, please stop. Richard, please stop. Please stop.
Is that a sedan, SUV?
It's just a black sedan Mercedes SUV.
Okay.
He's not going to be able to get out the gate. I cut it off.
What do you mean you cut it off?
I cut the gate. We live behind it. It's Richard Sherman. Like, ma'am, this is like a emergency. I need officers here
listen
now.
to me. I'm handling this. You need to stop telling me that.
Okay, but what I'm
not going to slow help down. Talking to me is not going to slow help down.
Okay, well, what I needed to know is that he.
What's your name?
My name is Ashley Sherman.
Do you know what his date of birth is?
3/30/88.
Okay, slow down so I can understand you. What's the date of birth?
March 30th, 1988.
I mean, who the hell was that doing the dispatching? I mean,
Can you calm down? It's like, no, she can't calm down.
No, Karen, I don't have time to calm down, Karen. God, the hell are you doing to me? I'm called. Look, someone calls 911. Of course, they're going to be in hysterics. If they're not in hysterics, then you have to wonder if they really needed to call 911. This dispatcher, more than anything else in this entire story, needs to be disciplined in some way. I'm not saying that she needs to lose her job because maybe she can go through some training, but you're going to cost someone their life or lives or property or something. I mean, her demeanor was asinine. Good old-fashioned bedside manner, as they call it, right? This is, wow. I don't know what was in her craw, but when she's, I'm handling this. No, you're not. You are not handling it. I was waiting for her to threaten to hang up on her, right? I'd be like,
yeah. Oh, wait, call back.
Yeah. You hang up on me, you're going to need 911. You know what I mean? Oh, my God. This poor thing. And the thing is, did you come across anything on what he supposedly actually did? Because his wife is saying he didn't harm anybody, but yet he's being arrested for domestic violence. And the officers are saying it didn't show that he had harmed anybody. So it's not like that there was some kind of actual evidence, according to the first reports I saw, where he actually harmed anybody. So I don't get what the domestic violence comes from if he wasn't violent domestically, right? I'm a little confused on that. Have you come across anything?
Not too much, but I heard something similar. And because when you hear domestic violence, I'm sitting there yesterday watching Pat.
I'm thinking Marcelo Zuna,
Yeah, correct. And everyone's like, holy crap. Like, you see those two words. But then I saw a story where he was like just abandoning his car, was, doing some weird stuff around the lady or what have you, but nothing actually to harm anybody else other than maybe himself. So I'm a little confused why they would put such a strong verbiage in there if actually none of that has been proved out yet. I don't know why they wouldn't wait to say the words domestic violence. It just doesn't make much sense to me.
The only thing I can think of is if that's because what the original call was about, and that's what the reports are referring to. But it doesn't sound like he actually did anything. It sounded like he was losing his mind and was threatening to do harm to himself, is what it sounds like.
That's what I hear as well.
And so unless there's something that, that comes out outside of this, I think number one with the bullet is he needs to get some help. It's a shame. It's a guy that, we all know, and he's been polarizing in the past. He's come off as kind of a jerk sometimes to some of the other quarterbacks. But at the same token, when it comes to a defensive back acting like that in the National Football League, I kind of look at that as sometimes that's their shtick. And then he's had some other political leanings that some people have been turned off by. But all in all, Richard Sherman has been a great player in the NFL. And one of the most surprising things about this story is that he's still a free agent. And I'm a little surprised by that. For some reason, I thought he had signed re-signed with San Fran, and evidently he is still a free agent. So,
he may be waiting longer now. It could be.
I'm telling you, he's going to be in Tampa, dude, because Brady don't care. If Brady thinks that you can actually help his team, he thinks he can fix anybody. You know, if that wasn't the case, then Antonio Brown wouldn't have a Super Bowl ring right now.
True.
Right. So, yeah, imagine putting it, make Sherman and Brown roommates on the road. I'm sure that'll turn out all right.
Hey, if you get in trouble, come on over. You clean guys, stay the hell out of here.
You two are roommates, and the reason why is we've got an entire security team, and we want them to be able to focus on one area. So the two of y'all are bunking together. You see these 6 Secret Service agents? We're all keeping them around y'all. Don't want any harm to happen to anybody, including yourselves. Wow. But anyways, we will move on from that because I felt like we had to address it, and especially the jerk ass dispatcher in this situation. I mean, what the hell? Get over yourself. Anyways, moving on from that, you know, we had the game 4 was last night, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And it ties up 2-2. I know you've been pro Bucks. I've been pro Suns. Anything change your mind? Or are you still thinking that the Bucks are going to pull it off?
I think it's going 7. I think the Bucks take it still. I love both these teams, as we know. They're both great, fun teams, built within a lot from in the organizations. But I'm still hanging on with the Bucks because I just think at the end of the day, the best player on the floor when healthy is still Giannis. And he makes it happen on both ends. Middleton stepped up last night, but now they're going back to Phoenix, and I could see it. Phoenix having a big game. That's the crazy part. So I think home 4 takes over in this series till game 7.
I expect CP3 to play much better in this game.
Hard to play worse, right?
Right. And so we get game number 5, but game number 3 in the city of Phoenix. I expect that place to be rocking.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're going to be hard to beat at home in general, but I really think they're going to be hard to beat in game 5. You get to game 7, it's kind of all bets are off. But here's the thing that I feel like they're missing once again. Game 5 isn't until Saturday night. Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. What are we doing? Why does it have to be? If you're going to do it on Saturday, why does it have to be that damn late? I guess is my point.
Hey, believe me, I hate staying up even during these 8 o'clock starts. I mean, you think in Milwaukee they'd be starting at 7 or 7:30. I mean, for you, it's 9 o'clock. It's like, come on now, let's make a little more sense.
Well,
yeah, after 9.
Plus, I'm planning on getting up and watching the Open. You can't burn the candles at both ends. You can't watch game 5 till its entirety and then get up in time to watch the big names because they'll be teeing off around 7 Eastern. And it's a Sunday. So I'm not going off 6 hours sleep on a Sunday for no apparent damn reason. Stupid. Stupid.
They have the finals to themselves, and yet they still make bad timing. Jesus, it's like, come on.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, anyways, I keep wanting to call it the U.S. Open, the British Open. I know people are calling it the Open, but I have a hard time calling it the Open because when you call it that, what Open are we talking about? The John Deere Classic Open? I mean, what the hell are we talking about? But the Open itself, have you caught any of it this morning?
I did not to this point yet. No, I have not.
All right, so the first thing people are going to notice is that the scores are extremely low. And that's a weird thing in the Open because normally in the British Open, it's very hard to get good scores. Everyone needs to take advantage of this because they're going to tighten it up. I guarantee it. So right now, the top of the leaderboard through 16 holes is Mr. Jordan Spieth. He's 5 under. There's a lot of people who are 4, 3, 5 under. I'm going to rattle off the big names real quick. Tied with him is Ustathazen, and I hate the. I mean, come on, guy. You change your name.
Make it a little easier.
Oh, Luis is a 5 under par with Jordan Spieth. And then Americans that have played well so far, Kirk is 2 under, Griffin 2 under, Dustin Johnson is 1 under, but through 13. And you got a lot of guys who have not teed off yet. And we'll get into that as the show goes on. We'll kind of update you on that. Phil Mickelson, I think, is teeing off in about a little over an hour. So there you have that on what's going on in the Open. Who do you have as a win, place, and show in the Open this year?
You want to go first? I don't really have it off the top of my head. I'm going to do it right now.
Well, yesterday on the Gators and Golf with Tony, I took Koepka to win. I took my number 2 guy was Rahm, I believe, and then I had Rory. Now looking at these scores right now, you want to jump on the Jordan Spieth bandwagon, but problem with him is he's not put 4 together in a major in about 5 years, right? 4 consecutive rounds. So I worry about him. But one of the guys that I've got my eye on now that this morning's going, just because he's from that area, you got to figure he's very familiar with the course. Justin Rose is 3 under par, 13 through 13. So if I can give one caveat, that would be a name that I would throw in right now of guys that have teed off. What say you?
Yeah. So for win, play, show.
By the way, Koepka is 1 under, and he's done for the day.
Yeah, for win, play, show, I'm going to go Koepka to show. To place, I will go Colin Morikawa, and to win it all, I'm going to go Justin Thomas. Justin Thomas will be my winner of this pool. So I'll probably lose that being my top 3, but I'm going to take Koepka, Morikawa, and Justin Thomas.
Okay. Trying to see some of the other names. I just saw DeChambeau and I can't find his score now. But anyway,
Morikawa is 40 to 1.
He's even through 16.
Okay.
DeChambeau, and like I said, I'll try to update it as we're doing other things. Real quick on. Let's do Super Bowl futures, and then on the other side, we'll do the Green Bay Packers because we're not going to have time to get this started.
Cool. And
then we'll push the other thing to the end. So Super Bowl futures, and I just found this interesting because the reason being is there was discussion on it yesterday. And look, I get it. A lot of people were just talking about this because there was literally no sports on yesterday. We finally do get live sporting. Well, the basketball game, but hell, that wasn't till 9 o'clock at night. So all day yesterday, not just on Sports Talk Radio, but on your television sets and whatnot, and the CBS Sports HQ, which I cannot recommend that enough for people who haven't found that yet. It's a free app on your television. It's basically 24/7 sports. It's almost like it's like the way ESPN News was trying to be years ago.
I was going to say it's one of the best things that my brother brought to my attention about a year ago. It's a lot of good information.
It's phenomenal. And
they cover everything.
Yeah, and I love the fact that they don't get deep down into any like big topics. They just talk to sports.
Yes.
So this morning I normally listen to New York radio, and they've gotten on this kick for the last few days where they're talking about the dude getting his tire changed and other stupid things that and this morning's like, I'm not listening to this junk. Real sports are going to have to come back. I'll probably turn them on like tomorrow or something. But I'm like, I've got to just screw this. I started watching the Open, and then when I get in the studio and jump on the treadmill right before the show, I got to get my juices going with actual talk. And so I put it on the CBS HQ, and I mean they were going around talking about Allen Robinson free agency possibilities next year. The fact that he's going to get tagged today is a tag deadline, by the way, y'all. For folks who haven't picked up on that, Chris Godwin, Allen Robinson, and Brandon Scherf, the guard from the Washington football team, they're all expected to get franchise tagged. There's some other ones, but those are the big ones. Those are the big ones. The 2 receivers, Chris Godwin from the Bucks, Allen Robinson from the Bears, and then Scherfter's saying is going to make close to the 18 million tag that Robinson and Godwin are going to make, and that surprised me because I didn't think a guard would bring in as much money as a receiver, but that's what they were saying last night. And I didn't triple check that, so don't quote me on it. But I'm going off of what a Pro Football Focus was talking about. But anyways, the future bets, and this is for this coming season. Okay.
Yep.
Looking at to win it all, the Chiefs are still the favorites, which surprised me. I thought it would be the Bucks, but the Chiefs are the favorites. They're plus 500 if you took them to win the Super Bowl. If the Buccaneers, you take them, and they're plus 650. And then there's a big drop off because you're talking about taking not necessarily what you would consider a long shot in some of the teams I'm going to rattle off, but it's a safer bet that, you know, most prognosticators are going to go chalk this off season and say, "I would give me the Chiefs and Bucks in the Super Bowl," right? So you get the Bills at 1,200, the Rams at 1,250, 49ers at 1,350, Ravens 1,400, the Browns at 1,600, and then the Packers, who we're talking about today, at 1,650. Then you've got like your Colts at 2,500, which is a pretty good return. The Titans are 2,650.
The 49ers make no sense to me.
Where do you have them?
I'm just saying that you had them about like number 5 or 6 on the board. I can't believe they're ahead of teams like the Browns, the Packers, the Seahawks. That's even.
Well, one of the reasons is they're just one season away removed from the Super Bowl.
Right.
And then also, if you look at their schedule, they have one of the easiest schedules in the NFL, which is
okay. That's fair.
And so when I was talking yesterday about who to draft and where to draft, et cetera, the reason why the 49ers kept popping up is because they have a very easy schedule. Now, if they have an easy schedule, you know the Rams do, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Because essentially in the NFL, you get the same schedule as the team in your division. There might be a 1 or 2 game discrepancy, but other than that, it's pretty even, Steven, which I've always like that about pro sports. You know, you get college sports, you can get some really. We did the Gators on Tuesday, and they've got a cakewalk of a schedule. I mean, it's absurd, and I still think they're going to lose 3 games. But the NFL one. So of all those, what's the most intriguing to you? Not naming the Colts, because I know you're going, "Oh, the Colts."
No, well, I'm one of those guys
to cut it all down.
I like to always look to the big side of the odds. Obviously, if I had to make my safe bet, I probably would take Tampa again, just because you always got to trust Tom Brady. But going on the low end odds of things, I kind of like where the Cardinals and Steelers around that plus 4,000 mark. It might be a little off, but around plus 4,000.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Yeah, so I kind of like to I wouldn't mind putting a few dollars on each of those teams. The Cardinals kind of geared up. I'm not saying they're Super Bowl ready by any means, but they got the veteran players like the J.J. Watt, the Hopkins in there over the past year. And then the Steelers, if Big Ben can play like a younger self of that, or just not be injury prone, turn it over, I wouldn't mind taking a little flyer on either one of those at plus 4,000, honestly.
I'll tell you the team that intrigues me the most, because if they can get quarterback play, the Miami Dolphins have got a team.
Yeah,
they've got a team, but the big question mark is the quarterback position. If they do something crazy like pull off a trade for Rodgers or something, look out. But as it stands today, you can't really go off of that. So the Dolphins are one of the teams that I have circled, and then once again, it could be the Rodgers factor, and that's why I think they're ranked above a few teams. You got the Broncos at 24.65 on this one that I'm looking at, so basically plus 2,500. The only reason why you have them in the same conversation, they're all around the same spot as the Colts, Seahawks, Titans, and just in front of the Cowboys. The only reason is because they think there's a good chance that Aaron Rodgers is going to head to Denver. Because you look at the rest of that roster, there's no reason why you go, "Oh, look out for the Broncos this year." You'd be like, "Really?"
Oh, no.
You're like, really? They're in the freaking Chiefs division. Really? They're in the Raiders division. Really? They're in the upstart Chargers division.
Who got decent odds themselves right above them.
Right. That's the only reason why you would say watch out for the Broncos. Watch out for the Packers. We're going to bring them up to in the next segment. On the other side of the break, we're going to talk Green Bay Packers. And for you baseball fans, we're going to tell you who's going to be in the damn World Series after soaking in 80 games plus. We'll be back in a flash here on the Armchair Quarterbacks, listening to CBS Sports Radio, and find us on YouTube Live today. Please like, subscribe, and share our show.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Woo!
Armchair Quarterbacks Radio covers the whole SEC the whole season long.
Here's Tua stepping back, loads up, looks long, throws, end zone, touchdown, Alabama, Devontae Smith, touchdown, Alabama. And the Crimson Tide has once again ascended to the top of the college football mountain.
Again, it's going to be Crapel, wing, and the kicker, Drew Alamo. LSU remains undefeated.
Passes away, penalty flag down. Lamar Thomas has got it. Lamar Thomas is on his way down the sideline. George Teague is after him and runs him down. Takes the ball away from him. Teague's got the ball.
Well, congratulations to the LSU Tigers, the 2008 BCS National Champion.
Armchair.
SEC! SEC!
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Let's face it, where you're betting is just as important as who you're betting on. That's why I go to mybookie.ag. It's fast, it's easy, and they pay you when you win. Look, I wouldn't be telling you to bet mybookie.ag if they weren't the best. Do the smart thing. If you're going to bet this football season, bet with mybookie.ag. Promo code SKIN, that's SKIN. When you use that promo code, MyBookie will match 100% of your deposit up to $1,000. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SKIN.
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys? Yeah!
Now on Sunday mornings at a new time, we're going 11 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern with the NFL Fantasy Football Stardom Situm Pick'em Show. We do DFS, season-long fantasy, and we keep a winning record against the spread. 11 to noon on Sundays. The Armchair Quarterbacks have got you covered all football season long.
Real men of genius. Today we salute you, Mr. Fantasy Football Manager Guy. Every year you assemble your closest friends to prepare for another season in the knockdown, drag-out world of make-believe football. You were born with the one skill every manager needs to play fantasy football. Absolutely no skill playing real football.
Mr. Fantasy Football Man.
Make sure to join the Armchair Quarterbacks right here. You want to win your league? Then listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks. And don't be scared to tap that app. Find the Armchair Quarterbacks app today.
Fantasy football time.
We got to start with a group selfie.
Excuse me, didn't Ellen do this like 3 years ago?
Hey, does Tay Diggs follow you on Twitter?
No, but Kraft Singles does.
Good morning. Welcome back here to the Armchair Quarterbacks. YouTube Live and CBS Sports Radio. So Joey, the Green Bay Packers. That clip I was supposed to put up there was supposed to be previewing the Packers freaking schedule. I don't know what the hell I hit. I think I hit something from yesterday. And what sucks about the way the YouTube thing is set up, once you start going down a certain path, you can't change your lineup on the way I share the screen. It's too long and boring to explain it. But once I hit, I was like, well, there's nothing I can do about it. I mean, there's nothing I can do without just taking the whole damn thing down. Just so you can get your Packer schedule. I was like, once I make that terrible mistake, I have to roll with it. And normally. I just, try to play it off. But this time I was like, what the hell, man? I got the Suns freaking Bucks, 9 p.m. tip off up there. What the hell's going on here? All right. Anyway. And I wish I could pull it up now, but I can't because of the way it's set up. So anyways, with that being said, let's dive into the Green Bay Packers.
Let's do it.
In your best NFL films voice. Frozen tundra of Lamb.
The frozen tundra.
And Aaron Rodgers may not play. So that's not good, man. I'll say if you're a Packers fan, whether you want to admit it or not, your entire 2021 lives depend on number 12. Because if it's Jordan Love, because you've traded Aaron Rodgers to Denver or wherever, man, you're at best you're in rebuild mode. At best.
Well, I was going to say, could we do records for like with Rodgers and without him? Because I mean, it's so, no, I know we're not going to, but it's so tough to say. Like, it's July 15th.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. We're going to assume that he's going to play.
I'm cool with that.
And if he doesn't, then scratch this entire damn thing. And they're going to go 0-16 or 0-17. But we're going to assume that they're going to do something to appease. I still feel like he doesn't want to be there, but I don't know how realistic it is for him to play elsewhere this year. I really don't, because man, if it's going to happen, it's got to happen like in the next 10 to 14 days.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't bring a guy in, because you're going to have to give up a load to bring in Aaron Rodgers.
Correct.
You can't bring Aaron Rodgers in like the middle of September and have to pay a king's ransom and get anything out of him. Because you're not building for if you bring Aaron Rodgers, you're not building for the future. He's like 60. You're building for the now.
Mm-hmm.
Building for this year, next year, and everything else is the icing on the cake. Because he's not going to age well. He's not going to be a great 44-year-old quarterback like Tom Brady, because he relies on his legs, as we all do. But he specifically relies on his legs when he's out there on the field. To at least he's not as mobile as he used to be. Still in pretty darn good shape, and he's still he still has the ability to create time and create space to buy his receivers time to get open. And that's one of the most dangerous things Aaron Rodgers has always been, is that it's not just a scrambling ability, but his ability to read the defense on the run and be accurate when he's throwing on the run. We're seeing Patrick Mahomes do things we've never seen realistically, but it really began with Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
You had scrambling quarterbacks before, don't get me wrong, but they weren't as accurate as Rodgers was on the run. Normally, even and I go back to the days of like Steve Young was probably the best scrambling quarterback before him. Even the great Randall Cunningham. If you could get them flushed and out of the pocket, they became a lot less accurate. Aaron Rodgers, that was his calling card. So they're going to start the preseason, first of all. God, I bet they wish this was the beginning of their regular season. They're at home against the Texans and Jets.
No kidding.
Wow. And so the Jets game is the one you expect them to play the most. They'll finish at the Bills, and I do believe, even though that's technically week 3, I do believe that's the weekend that you're not going to see a whole lot of players play.
Agreed.
I think it's going to move it up to week 2 is going to be the week that everyone's going to do it, and week 3 is going to be people fighting for their jobs.
Yep.
So they'll roll out of that, and they start the season off this year at the Saints. Is someone being murdered in the background? What is going on?
For me?
Yeah, you can hear something like crashing in the background. Is someone chopping a body?
No, I swear I got nothing going on over here. I just got my headset in as usual.
I don't know what that sound is. It continues.
Sorry about that.
It just started, so it's something that someone just recently started doing. But anyways, there it goes again. What the hell is that? I mean, I'm assuming it's on your end. I don't think it's the computer.
Trying to.
It might be your headset. I don't know. Anyways, we will move on. What in the living hell is that? Let me mute myself and make sure that I can't get rid of that. All right, I really don't know what the hell that noise is. It's really, really strange.
I'm just about to mute myself and see if it goes away.
Well, it's not. I can't hear it now. I can put it that way. But anyways, and now I hear it again as you come back in. So I don't know what that is. Really, really strange. Maybe try unplugging your microphone and coming back. I'm going to start going into the schedule as we need to get into the meat and potatoes of the Packers. They're going to start at the Saints. They're going to be at home against the Lions, so you like that a lot. And then they're at the 49ers. The Saints game is going to be very, very, I'll say, you don't know what you're going to get out of the Saints, so that's going to be an interesting first game, assuming we do get Aaron Rodgers. It looks like that thing is being set for a late afternoon game so maybe that's America's game of the week, or I forget how they phrase that. I think that's what they
Joe Buck game.
Yeah. And then at the 49ers, at home against the Steelers, at the Bengals, at the Bears. So they've got 5 road games to start their season off, which is very, very difficult road to travel. And your 2 home games at home against the Lions and home against the Steelers, you don't really get much of a break starting the season off. And even after they come back from the Bears, they've got the Washington football team. They go to Arizona. That looks like that's a night game. Looks like a Thursday night game. Then they're at the Chiefs. I mean, this is a tough stretch for the beginning of the season. Now, with that being said, if you play that many games on the road to start the season off, you know you're going to get some kind of a handle. And if by looking at it blindly, I should have counted this up, but it looks like that they're one of the teams that's going to have to play 9 road games and only 8 home games. So that's one of the reasons why it feels treacherous. And I really think when you go to look at the schedules this year, Joey, I believe that the teams that get that extra home game every year until they even this thing out, it's going to be a massive advantage. It really is. And I know they said half the league's going to get 9, half the league's going to get 8. What I never looked into is, are they going to split that up evenly? And what I mean by that is, I would hope the entire division gets 9 and 8 each year, right? So in other words, I would hope that you wouldn't have like the Packers getting 9 road games and then the rest of the divisions getting 8, because that's a huge disadvantage for the Packers in the NFC North.
Yeah, you can't be doing that because
I believe what I saw, and correct me if I'm wrong, weren't they talking about doing like the AFC gets 9 games one year and the NFC gets 9 games the following year? And it goes
that sounds right.
Okay. So, and I guess the way you would do that is you would just schedule an extra out of conference game. And I don't see, let me see. Well, something's awry because if they're playing the Chiefs and they're playing the Browns. Okay. So the Chiefs must be their extra game at the Chiefs because they're playing the entire NFC North.
God bless that extra game.
I'm sorry, AFC North. Yeah. And so it looks like their extra game because normally you would just play the 4 games at a conference, right? So what we're getting is 5 games at a conference. And so that game against the Chiefs is in Kansas City. And I'm with you. That's the
hey, I feel for them because the Colts extra game, they got Tampa Bay this year. So I feel for them.
That is a short straw, my friend. you have to play an extra game. It sucks. And your extra game's in Kansas City. What the hell?
Could it give me like home against the Texans or something?
Don't try to sell me this. Well, it's a rematch of Super Bowl 1 crap. I don't want to hear it. I'm trying to get to the Super Bowl if I'm Aaron Rodgers or LaFleur or whoever. who the hell do I have to fellatio around here to be able to, not have to play the Chiefs? And on the road to boot. That's a screw job right there. I'm sure even the Chiefs are like, maybe we get one extra home game and we got to play the freaking Packers. I haven't looked at where that falls in the schedule, but it's probably like right in between, like, Denver and Oakland or something. Or,
it's right after at Arizona and right before the Seahawks. Holy crap!
Oof. Man. The Chiefs might be like 7-11 this year and still end up in the Super Bowl, because if they can find a way into the playoffs, they're going to be well tested. Now that's the thing, is we know we're going to get 7 teams in the playoffs in the NFC. So you're getting that extra team in the playoffs. So it really allows the teams with the better rosters to push through. Finishing off that schedule, by the way, versus after KC, they're at home against Seattle, at Minnesota, at home against the Rams, home against the Bears, at the Ravens, at home against the Browns, at home against the Vikings. Are you picking up a pattern here? And then at the Lions in the final game of the season, and that may or may not be significant. What we're looking at is down the stretch from the Seahawks game on. And so that's what, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that the last 9 games? They have 3 road games. That's a significant advantage, but you've got to make it to that point. You don't want to be sitting there, hey, look, our last 9 games, we get 6 at home. Too bad we're 0-8.
Yeah, can't catch up now.
Brutalness that is the schedule. And oh, by the way, that's why Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to play this year. He wants to go elsewhere. He's like, dude, have you seen the schedule? I'm not playing here. All right, with all that being said, and you're looking at the fact that, Davante Adams' future is directly going to be tied to whether or not they can make Aaron Rodgers happy. If they can make Aaron Rodgers happy, Davante Adams will re-sign with Green Bay. If they can't, he's not going to. Now, I believe they can still franchise tag him next year, and they can do that for a couple of years and make his life absolutely miserable, because he'll be, trying to. That franchise tag thing, by the way, I think at the next CBA, the players union really needs to fight for 1 year. Because an NFL career is so short. If you get me 4 years out of college and I can franchise tag you, and in some of those contracts, you actually have the 5th year option. So I got 5 years out of college and I can franchise tag you 2 more times. And though you will be paid handsomely, I have your services for 7 freaking years. By the time you get to that 8th year, you might be 29, 30 years old. Who the hell wants you at that point? I really expect the NFL Players Union at some point to say, first of all, it's a hard 4 years out of college and 1 franchise tag year. Because I think that would be fair. That's 5 years of control, essentially. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, Aaron Jones did get re-signed, which everyone I think was shocked by that. A.J. Dillon was a bruiser himself. They both average, I think, like around over 5 yards a carry. And I saw something that kind of jumped when they say things like hasn't happened since.
Oh boy.
When they say things like no one else has done it since Jim Brown, that jumps off at the table at me. And here was the stat. There's only 2 players in NFL history to post 3,000 plus rushing yards, 35 rushing touchdowns, and average more than 5 yards per carry in their first 4 seasons. There's 2 guys in the history of the NFL. It's Jim Brown and Aaron Jones. That's the list.
Wow. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Well, that's why when people say Rodgers has nothing, it's like he's got Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams. Let's not act like he has complete garbage with him.
No, he's got talent. I think what he got mad about, let's be honest, is what Aaron Rodgers is pissed about more than anything else, and I'm sure he's still upset about the fact that they didn't go for it on 4th and 8, and they kicked the field goal, never saw the ball again against Tampa, which was an incredibly stupid play call in itself. And I can't defend what LaFleur did because it was extremely stupid. But what he's mad about is it's his ego, is the fact that they traded up. They didn't just draft a guy. They traded up in the first round to draft Jordan Love last offseason or last draft season. And Aaron Rodgers was pretty ticked off about it. He had one of his best years in 2018. And after the 2019 season, they go out and they draft who they drafted. You could arguably say that last year's year was his best year. And he doesn't want this Jordan Love hanging over his shoulder because he was Jordan Love a decade ago plus when he was hanging over Brett Favre's shoulder. And he saw how Brett Favre was shown the door. And I think he's trying to control the narrative.
Which is fair because it is a repetitive situation. Obviously, we don't know what Love is, but he's coming and he's at least potentially they're going to try it the future, whether this ends sooner than later.
It's also incredibly stupid on the part of LaFleur, who's brought in to win a championship, to waste a first-round draft pick going into your first year when you had a real shot at it all, and you waste your first-round draft pick on a damn quarterback. Because it's one thing to draft a guy in the 3rd or 4th round as a project, and it's understood that he's not there to take Aaron Rodgers' job. When you draft a guy in the 1st round, no matter what the position is, it's assumed that he's going to compete, if not start, within year 1 or year 2. You can only have one quarterback out there at one time, and that's why Aaron Rodgers is reading the room. He wants a chance to win another championship, and he feels like he's going to be put out to pasture. So I get why Aaron Rodgers is ticked, and I don't know if it's repairable, but they've got to find a way to figure this out. I mean, they have to do what you have to do if you got caught trying to hook up with a chick that was actually a downsize from the chick that you're dating, right? And you get busted flirting, even if you didn't do the deed, but you get busted flirting, you have to go back to your first girl and just beg for forgiveness. You got to throw you was right, I was wrong. You pretty, I'm ugly. You skinny, I'm fat. You smart, I'm dumb. You got to do all that. Because if you don't do any of that, she's going to read the room and go, what the hell am I even doing with this clown? That's what happened. The Packers were caught flirting with the ugly chick at the bar. And Aaron Rodgers got hot girl mad.
Wrong person. Wrong person to make mad.
Yeah, he finally woke up and goes, what the hell? I don't need to be in Green Bay. I could get like that's some kind of mecca to Green Bay, Wisconsin. I can live anywhere. Why do I care if I'm in Green Bay? I can send my ass out west somewhere, and I can film daytime Jeopardy on Tuesdays on our off day. That's where we're at. But anyways, to that point, the Packers, where do you have them?
Yeah, so after going through the schedule, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2, 4-2, 5-2, 6-2, 6-3, 6-4, 6-5, 7-5, 8-5, 8-6, 9-6, 10-6, 11-6 with ROGGERS.
11-6 with ROGGERS. I actually think if ROGGERS plays and he goes out there hell on wheels, they could be 13-4, 12-5.
I could see it. I just feel like, I mean, let's get his ass into camp.
That is the biggest issue. That is I'm going to go with, if ROGGERS plays from start to finish, I still think they're the best team in the division. And I can see them going somewhere along the lines of, because of that gauntlet, I'll say 12-5. 12-5.
So fairly around the same thought process.
12-5, and they win the division. Real quick, because we're running out of time. American League Championship Series, National League Championship Series, your world champion right now as we sit here on July 15th. Who do you have in the ALCS and the NLCS and going to the World Series?
Yeah, so in the ALCS, I have the Astros and the White Sox going at it. And then in the NLCS, I have the Mets and the Dodgers going at it. And then my two winners coming out of that will be, I'll take the Dodgers over the White Sox in the World Series of this year.
I'm going to go with the Brewers and the Giants for the NLCS. I have serious questions about the Mets. The Dodgers, I think, will get it together. It's just really hard to repeat. And sometimes you need all 25 guys in, or 26 now, all, churning and wanting to make it. And I just got this feeling that the Dodgers are a little complacent, even though they're playing decent baseball. They get in that playoffs. They get in that one-game playoff game. And what if they have to run into Yu Darvish and he's pitching really well? It's things like that. So that's why I'm going to go with the Brewers and the Giants.
I think the Mets will make a big move too. So that's kind of where I see a couple big moves out of the Mets, but go on.
And I've got the Boston Red Sox and the Houston Astros. And I know nobody wants to hear that because those were the two teams that cheated. But the Red Sox, I think, are going to add something to their pitching staff, and they're already playing really good baseball. They have the money to bring in someone where Tampa does not. I just don't think this is the Yankees' year. They're a decent team. I just don't think that there's a good chance they're not going to make the playoffs. And you usually have to make the playoffs to have a chance to win the World Series. And as far as the White Sox are concerned, they're really good, and I'm pulling for them, and I want to see them do well. But my concern is once you get in the playoffs, who do they lean on offensively? And Boston and Houston rakes. I mean,
but I'm concerned about their pitching staffs, though.
Who?
Boston Red Sox. I think they got.
No, they're going to get Chris Sale back in about a month.
That's key. That's true. That's huge.
They're going to make a trade. They're Boston. Boston's not going to be there sitting at their trading deadline, which is just a couple of weeks away, and just say to hell with it. We're happy with losing the division. If they've got a chance, they're going to try to make a trade. And if they can bring in a Kyle Gibson or someone of that ilk to add to Chris Sale, and that bullpen's played really well. Everyone questioned it, but they've played pretty damn good. What concerns me about Tampa is they sit there just a game and a half behind Boston is A, their resources, and B, I don't know when we're going to get Glasnow back. And if Glasnow's not going to come back, now if he comes back in like a month or so, then that's like adding someone at the trading deadline. But Tampa just traditionally does not go out and get a big name. They'll go out and get something that they think they need, maybe a bullpen arm, et cetera, et cetera. But they need offense, and they need Glasnow to come back. and those question marks. And Houston's just playing incredible baseball right now.
Yes, they are.
And they're usually pretty aggressive. And so it'll be interesting to see the arms race of literally the arms race between Houston, Boston, possibly the Yankees, and possibly Toronto.
It's going to be a fun trade deadline. Really fun trade deadline.
Yeah, it is. And as far as the National League, man, I can't keep sitting here trying to say that the Braves are going to do it when unless they're going to go crazy and make a couple of big trades to turn the tide. They need 2 bats in their outfield. I think their starting pitching's fine. They need 2 bats in their outfield, and they at least need a back-end guy, if not a closer. That's a lot to have to bring in without wrecking your entire farm system, and Atlanta doesn't do that.
I agree. I'm with you in the same perspective as Cubs. Besides starting off with the Diamondbacks in the second half, there's nothing going there.
Now, 8 games back, man, that's going to be a rough one. I mean, I hope that they get hot a little bit and make this, it'll make the summer a little more interesting. Same thing with St. Louis, but it doesn't sound like Jack Flaherty is going to be back.
Nope.
At the earliest Jack Flaherty will be back will be sometime in mid-August. And so what are you going to do? Are you going to go on a 4-week run? You're not just going to have to play really good baseball. The Brewers are going to have to suck for a hot minute.
Correct.
Anyways, it's time to turn back time, get the hell on out of y'all.
Wow, time flew.
Yeah. As the dishes kept crashing in the background.
Hopefully it was fixed a little bit.
I can still hear. I don't know what in God's name it is, by the way. It really dumbfounds me. It's got to be something. It's got to be a loose wire or something like that. There's no telling. It's not as prevalent as it was, but I'm still hearing it from time to time. All right, turn back time. Let's go get to this sucker here on July 15th. It's unbelievable. Here we go. Back when this meant something, on this date, 1901, Christy Mathewson becomes the first rookie to throw a no-hitter in baseball history in the modern era. 1901, the 20-year-old right-hander who will hurl another no-hit game in 1905 holds the Cardinals hitless in the Giants' 5-0 victory. Known as the Christian Gentleman. Remember, Christy Mathewson is also the one that got hit by mustard gas in World War I and ended up dying at an early age. One of the truly great Americans and truly great baseball players in the history of baseball. Birthdays!
It's your birthday today. What does that mean? I guess I'll...
All right, let's grab the dead guy first. Frank Pop Morganweck, born in 1875, was elected to the Basketball Hall of Fame in 1962. Have you ever heard of this guy, Frank Pop Morganweck?
I have not.
I would have to know, by the way, what they considered a Hall of Famer that was going into 1962 in basketball. Right? Because, I mean, that really was not a basketball didn't really get going in my mind until the 1960s and the 70s.
And the Hall of Fame today is a joke for it.
He played for the Kingston Colonials, which is what he's most known for. But I also noticed he played for a basketball team called the Philadelphia Phillies. That's interesting. Because the Philadelphia Phillies in baseball didn't exist for another 60 years. So it makes me wonder if they drew off of that or how that worked. Played for the Pittsburgh Southsiders, the Co-Hosers. I don't know what the hell that is. The Co-Hos. I'm assuming it's a town.
What the hell is that?
The Co-Hosers. All right. Americans, I mean, alive people. Kim Alexis, do you remember her?
The name's familiar.
So she was a supermodel, was on the cover of Sports Sports Illustrated a couple of times. And for people like, yeah, man, she was really hot. She's 61 years old today. I'm assuming she's still probably hot.
I was going to say probably still looking good, full of plastic.
When I saw that this morning, I was like, my God. I mean, I remember her being like, you know, a sex symbol in the 80s. And it's hard to believe she's 61 years old today. That means I'm not too damn far from being 61 myself, you know, here in a decade or so. But
you're a young stallion, Mac.
I don't know about stallion, but what is your walk-off for the day, sir?
My walk-off for the day is for the people around me to stop breaking dishes, number one. And number two, you know, enjoy the weekend of the last few games of the NBA Finals. You don't get usually two teams that you don't hate like we do now. Usually you have your villain and your hero. So enjoy it. The baseball deadline's coming around, but enjoy the NBA Finals because this series has been fun. It deserves the, you know, attention it's getting at 2-2. So finish it out. And before you know, it will be the football season. So, yeah.
My walk-off is baseball does come back tonight. We get Yankees, Red Sox. Thank God. Thank God we got a ball game. And I will definitely be locked into that, getting ready for, you know, it all comes back tomorrow. And as far as the NBA Finals goes, I kind of get why they're doing it on Saturday night. But at the same token, man, this dragging out of it, I just wonder if that might hurt them long term. They're going to play. This is how it will set if it goes the way it does. And this is why it doesn't make sense. They're going to play Saturday night, Tuesday night, and Game 7 would be Sunday night. Thursday night. And I know why they want Game 7 to be Thursday night, because that's one of the biggest television nights in there is, right? But you're going to have 2 days off to go to Phoenix, 2 days off to go back to Milwaukee, and then if there is a Game 7, 1 day off to go back to Phoenix. That could play into older guys like Chris Paul not playing very well in that game.
Because they used to go 2-3-2 and there was less days. So I don't know. Maybe they go back to that. Who knows?
Well, they used to go 2-3-2, but that's been years and years ago. Because
right, it's been a little bit. Yes,
they started that 2-2-1-1-1 one scenario mid-90s, I think. When I was growing up as a kid, it was 2-3-2 in the 80s.
I was just thinking maybe that could help with traveling, cut this crap down a little bit. I don't know.
I don't think they will, because they like having you. Because if you have 2-3-2, there's more of a chance of a sweep or a short series. If you have 2-2-1-1-1, there's more chance of it going 7, and that's what they want to get at. My point is them stretching it out. I think they did a piss poor job on picking the days is the only thing I'm at, because Game 6 to Game 7 only having 1 day off in between it. I mean, look, both teams are going to have to deal with it. I get it, but it could be an issue. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Football Friday tomorrow is the New Orleans Saints. And we got some other things planned. We're going to be eating W's and talking about the
W.
The Open. I've got a funny intro for tomorrow that I found that it was.
I'll be listening.
You don't want to miss it. It's Jameis Winston, and that's all I'll say. And he's with the Bucks.
Is he doing that rhyme thing where he's like singing a little bit and then they follow him?
I can't get into the whole thing, but
okay.
It's goofy and it's pretty damn funny. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
See you, Mac.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. We're here weekdays. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for Southern sports talk, live from the First Coast.
Gonna get another cigarette and please